Welcome and good evening to all. It's pleasure to interacting with all of you. I hope you all are doing well and managing your day-to-day life in a very nice manner. We are here to discuss today one of the very important aspect of our life and the health. Basically, our total health is depend upon our glands hormonal secretion. As you know, our body is secreting different hormones by the different glands, which is maintaining our total metabolism as well as development, growth. Because if you can consider like this, when we say imbalance or balance, that means we only talk about those aspects, balance or imbalance, which can decrease or increase. You just keep in the mind, when we say imbalance or balance, anything which is required in the body, which is maybe required 500, if it is 300 or 700, in both the conditions it is imbalance. Same way, when you prepare some recipe and put the specific things in the spices in that to get the final taste of the thing, and if something is missing, something is less or more in the body, and some less and more in the recipe, the final thing which you are looking to be enjoy to eat, it is not there. So same way, if our body is secreting so many different hormones, it means they are balancing our day-to-day health. It's not only the body as well as the mental activities, because our body, breath and mind is continuously working with coordinated manner. You want or not, we are focusing continuously by the body, some activity we are doing, but don't you think with the body activity your breath is also getting changed along with that, your mental activity is also getting changed in that. That means everything is working together in a very coordinated manner. So when we see in our total health, we may be looking at an average healthy person, we are not having any disease. But if any of the function of the body which is not working optimum level, that means that part will impact on your aging. Some people look very young in a very old age, and some people look very old in a young age. Not only outer looking, even their system also start working in the same manner. That means sluggish. The body is not working optimum level, the body is getting sluggish, and whatever you are taking inside by the food, it is not digesting properly, it is not, metabolism is not getting better day by day. So today we are focusing yoga practices, specific yoga practices for hormonal balance. Here our aim is not to really to give a strain or muscular activity more. The more is we have to give a trigger or stimulation to the specific regions of the body where the glands are situated. The glands are situated in specific different regions of the body, like pineal and our adrenal and pancreas are the area of our, below the navel is adrenal, and the upper, the kidney part is pancreas. So they are maintaining our metabolism, they are secreting the insulin, that pancreas, and maintaining the sugar level. So if it is not producing properly insulin, that means due to the sluggish working of the kidneys or digestion process or metabolism, that means its working will be reduced day by day. Same way we will focus four glands more today: thyroid, thymus, which is for immunity, thyroid is for overall growth, and it also maintains the rest of the all body hormones to keep balance. So our focus is today holding the postures, going to the specific postures in a gentle manner, the way yogic practices to be done, not in a muscular fight or something I should do more, I should have a sweat. We are understanding under certain topic today, so we will be understanding the practices to secrete the hormones, to stimulate the hormone, so that our internal health can be very good, which is ultimately going to give going to reflect on your total health as well. So we are starting today from the lower abdominal region area where the two main glands are situated and which are secreting and maintaining our sugar level, metabolism, and they are secreting the insulin. So let's see which kind of practices can be more helpful in that condition. So take a comfortable sitting position. We will be starting from the twisting aspect. There are different twisting aspects which our aim is to have a final pose, no doubt. But today I am going to the little bit specific practices, simple to complex. Maybe you are not able to reach the final pose today only, but you have to give that kind of trigger and stimulation to the specific region of the body so that your body start working very good. Let's begin this twisting with a simple twisting which we are doing many times. So sitting with cross leg, or maybe we can sit with Vajrasana, or we can sit on the pillow as well. So after sitting that, place the right hand on the left knee, left hand at the back, and twist the body. Now this twist is, this bending, this pressure is coming to the adrenal and the pancreas area. So today we will maybe maintain little less, but our aim is to maintain these positions more regularly so that we should be benefited. Our focus should be inner health. Same way the other side. So all twistings are always both the sides. Now the second level of twisting practice is Vakrasana. So bend your right leg. We have given little stimulation by that. For up to some time you can perform that regularly more with longer maintenance. Now Vakrasana, cross the right leg, bend the right leg, cross with the left knee, place with the left knee, same hand at the back in the line of your spine, but not going very far from the body, sitting straight and keeping at the line of your spine, and cross the left arm. Now suppose you cannot reach here, but you need to give a pressure in this area basically. So press the knee little bit back and twist the body right side, keeping the left leg completely straight. So as much you can. So close your eyes when you are holding the posture and concentrate the specific region where you experience the effect. Now release the head position, front hand, back hand, then leg. It's not only we are telling perform everything today, but you must learn and take the benefit. Now the left leg, cross, left hand at the back, cross the right arm and twist the body left side. Now release the head position, front hand, back hand. Now further the final pose of the same practice, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So place the right foot along with the left thigh, cross the left leg around the right knee. Why I am giving you all these postures? Because you should have an option to practice but to get the benefit. Not just if you cannot do the final you will say how I can be benefited. So cross the right arm, hold it. If you can't hold here, hold the knee and twist the body left side. Release, head, back hand, front hand, then leg. Now same way other side. Bend your left leg, place with the left thigh, cross the right leg on that. Now cross the left arm around the right knee. If you can't reach here, just stay here and give a pressure to this knee, press, and other hand at the back. If you can't stay with the back, you can keep the hand at the back on the ground and twist. It will improve the metabolism, digestion, and pancreas stimulation. Release. Head, front hand, back hand, then leg. So now little up we will come. Now we will do the more secretion on the pancreas area where we need to little bit pressure by the specific postures. There are 2 or 3 postures we are going to see. First we will be going to see Yoga Mudra. So sitting in Vajrasana like this. After sitting in Vajrasana, make a fist close and keep it side of the navel region. So this comfortable legs position you can take according to your comfort. So comfortably, maybe in the beginning you are not able to sit very nicely, then fist close, keep it side of the navel region. Now exhale and bend forward and hold. Suppose you can't touch, there is no need to lift the body. So you just simply remain maybe in this position, straight go down if you cannot touch the ground. But don't lift the hip region up. So just stay in position so that the fist which you have to make it will give a pressure and stimulate and screen. Release, head, shoulders, chest, abdomen. After this, you can take the help of this practice as well. For some days, till that you are not able to reach the Vajrasana, go like this, Shashank pose. It is not giving that pressure the way it was in Yoga Mudra, but it can be helpful. Release. Now straight the legs. So another forward bending which we are always doing, that means basically we have to create a pressure on this region, and before that we have done the lower abdomen, now it is the abdominal area. So we are going forward bending. So Paschimottanasana. If suppose you can't go with both the legs, the first option is you can go with one by one leg, hand and foot pose, just bend forward. I am just giving you the postures so that which you can develop slowly. So you place the right foot, the left thigh and bending forward towards the one leg. You will find, although no doubt when you bend straight way both the legs together, the pressure is more stimulation, but it is less stimulation, but you can take the help of this practice as well. Same way the other side, we are not repeating now. So with both the legs there, slowly we will go to the final pose, this one only. So you can't reach here, just stay here, but not like this, always go straight like this. So develop the correct practice and use it, then you see the difference in your total health. Release. Now, one more practice, that is in the lying position. Again, we can take the help of Nauka Asana, but initial stage you can perform like this. You can place the hand here, raise both the legs and stay like this for some time. So we have to create here ultimately pressure on the abdominal region for the stimulation. So hold like this. If you cannot do Nauka Asana, but perform like this for some days. 3 rounds, 30 seconds. Come back. Relax. Now we will be doing for thymus, which is situated here, and this is a gland which is for immunity, and for that you can take the help of Nauka for the Matsya Asana, fish pose. Like you can do, place the hand under There's no need to perform the final pose, Padmasana or so. You can do the simple, but this much practice you must do every day. No doubt it is helping for cervical as well, but for the thymus gland it's very important. Like this. Raise the chest and head. Place top of the head on the ground. So it's chest opening, respiration, open the lungs, and the activity, the stimulation which is coming, it will improve the functioning. Release. Now we will come for thyroid gland. Thyroid is situated here. Final pose, maybe you are not able to go. I am showing you two more postures, which you can, 2 or 3 postures, which can help you to go to take a help for the thyroid gland. So, first is you can take some days Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Bend your both the legs, both the head side of the body, and raise your middle part of the body up. And you can take the help of the hands. So it provides good circulation towards the head, contracting little bit to your thyroid gland. Release. Now the second practice which you can use is Viparita Karni and Halasana. So, initial stage, raise both the legs up to 90 degree. Then slowly raise your hip region. Take your legs towards the head. Place hand on the hip region, not straight, legs straight only. Viparita Karni. This also again provided the blood circulation, the upper body. Your chin is getting pressed towards your chest, and further you can go for Halasana. Suppose you can't do, just stay like this. Just stay like this for some days to practice, and slowly bring your legs down with the help of your hands. But don't give jerk quickly to come back. First bring your back region to the ground, then slowly both the legs to the ground. After giving these 3 practices, there's a contraction in the thyroid gland, and after that it's very important to practice the same fish pose again to expand the thyroid area. So contraction and expansion. Release. Now, after these specific physical practices, it's very important. Now we will come to the pineal and the pituitary gland, which is situated in the back part of your nose and back part of your eyebrows, pineal and the pituitary. Both the glands are giving a balance and secreting. As you know, our body-mind coordination automatically it is managing. That is why whenever we do inward body postures, we can do Shishasana as well, but I am not introducing here today. So headstand where head is down and legs are upward. So these practices are basically, if you see the yoga postures, the point of view, if you see the health point of view, there are very few practices. Any of the Hatha texts is talking about only 15 to 20 postures, which is basically main for the health. Rest modifications, rest cultural poses, rest of the combination, and we are multiplying. There are many and many we can do it. Positions can be maintained anyway. But main focus is always whenever we do research as well, these practices are only used to see the result of the health level. So now we will be taking care of our after physical practices. We need to once you give the physical stimulation, always you should lie down for a while. So that what pressure, what stimulation you have given by the posture, that is why we always say when you finish the posture, do not immediately go to the next posture. The reason is, suppose you bend forward. Now the pressure was there, stimulation was there, and there was the moment you release the posture, the circulation improves there. So let now body should work down. So we can lie down in relaxation, and also after that we can focus on our breath. You can use always one pillow or cushion for you for sitting straight, and every day this should be the part of your practice, which is for rest of the glands. That is, we are going to learn today Anulom Vilom Pranayam for 5 rounds, which is for the nervous system, making you calm and quiet, because we does not only require a physical internal balance, we need a mental balance and calm and quiet stage. These practices are without practice, you cannot take the benefit. Now, so take the right hand, close the first 2 fingers down. Now, we will be doing today with 5 seconds ratio. So I will be counting, you will be inhaling same time, 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale, and we will be doing 3 rounds Anulom Vilom first. Now, start inhalation by the left nostril, close the right nostril by the thumb, and inhale by the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can take longer, it's fine. Now exhale by the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can go more for long, it's fine. I will give you little time more. Maybe 5 or 7 seconds. Some people of you maybe can practice more longer. Now inhale by the right again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the right. Exhale by left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now second round, again inhale by left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the left nostril. Exhale by right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again inhale by right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the right. Exhale by left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third round. Inhale by left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the left nostril. Exhale by right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale by right nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the right and exhale by left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 3 rounds. Let's do now 3 rounds Bhastrika Pranayam with Chandrabhedan Pranayam, not with right nostril inhalation. 10 strokes Kapalbhati and 1 time inhale by left, exhale by right. 10 times Kapalbhati, 1 round inhale by left, exhale by right. Let's start with Kapalbhati. Is a forceful exhalation and stroke below the navel region. Inhale by left. Close the left, exhale by right. Second round, again Bhastrika, 10 strokes. Inhale by left. Close left, exhale by right. Third round, again 10 strokes. Inhale by left. Exhale by right. Release the hand position. One round Brahma Mudra, neck rotation. Slowly turn by the 10 count. Turn the neck towards right with 10 counts. I will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Before we end our session, I just want to give you a few guidelines. When you are performing these postures, if you have along with any, like now you will come to know the adrenal and diabetes, metabolism, thyroid. Suppose people, those who have a cervical spondylitis, please avoid the inward body posture where the legs are up and head is down. People, those who have a lower back pain, along with that, they should avoid the forward bending postures. But if it is just a exertional pain, then you can perform all these postures. But if it is already diagnosed this problem, and then you should avoid such practices. And looking to the especially thyroid imbalance, this or the other hormonal imbalance, whenever you find certain symptoms time to time, again and again, and you are experiencing something, suddenly your skin is getting dry, hairs are getting fall, or these are all hormonal secretion imbalances, many of the stress, anxiety, lack of sleep, these are the symptoms. That means stress is triggering your problems inside. Immediately contact the doctor and find out which gland, which secretion is not. But basically most of the time it has been observed the thyroid imbalance causes many of the areas, affect many of the areas. That's why the yoga practices have a great impact on the glandular system, and the regular practice only can recharge you, can help you to maintain your health. That is why you have seen many people, those who are they are good in age plus 60 or 70, but they are good in energy, they are performing very well, they are having energy good, the practice of yoga only. So you have to keep yourself healthy by hormonal excretion. So always when something is happening very continuously, talk to doctor, discuss with the doctor, and side by side learn correct practice, not just only for outer body. Join your hands. We will end the session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. We will end the session.